The Yeti? Myth? Or deadly predator? History's greatest mysteries high in the Himalayan mountains, where the air thins and silence rules. Whispers tell of a creature that walks upright, larger than a man, covered in shaggy white or dark hair, leaving massive footprints in the snow. Locals call it by many names: Meh-Teh in Tibetan, Migoi in Bhutan, and Yeti, to the world beyond. For centuries, the Yeti has been one of humanity's most enduring mysteries. Some describe it as a guardian spirit of the mountains, while others fear it as a flesh-and-blood predator, capable of killing those who dare to trespass into its icy domain. But what is the Yeti really? A myth born of fear and folklore? Misidentified animal? Or the last surviving remnant of a prehistoric species that time forgot? Long before Western explorers set foot in the Himalayas, stories of the Yeti were embedded in the culture and religion of the people living there. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Yeti was sometimes seen as a guardian of the mountains, a spiritual being connected to the wild, untamed nature of the high peaks. Monasteries recorded depictions of ape-like creatures in their manuscripts and murals. In Himalayan villages, parents warned children not to wander into the forests or snowy valleys at night, for the Yeti might take them. Sherpas described it not as a gentle guardian, but as a flesh-eating giant, capable of tearing a yak in half and dragging away a man. These myths are thousands of years old, suggesting that the Yeti was more than just a passing story. It was part of the identity and survival knowledge of mountain people. Early reports in Western discovery, the modern world first heard of the Yeti in the 19th century. British explorers and mountaineers traveling through Tibet and Nepal began hearing strange stories of a snowman-like beast. 1832, B.H. Hodgson, a British explorer, reported seeing a tall, bipedal creature covered in dark hair moving across the high mountains. His guides called it a wild man. 1921. During a British Mount Everest expedition, led by Charles Howard Berry, the team discovered enormous footprints at high altitude. The Sherpas insisted they belonged to the Meh-Teh, meaning man-bear snowman. Journalists mistranslated it, and the term Abominable Snowman was born. From this point on, the Yeti became a global sensation, a mystery that captured the Western imagination. The evidence. Footprints and relics, one of the most common forms of evidence presented for the Yeti, is footprints. Mountaineers repeatedly found huge tracks in the snow, some over a foot long, with strange proportions unlike any known animal. In 1951, Eric Shipton, a British explorer, photographed a series of footprints on the Menlung Glacier. These photos spread worldwide and are still among the most famous alleged Yeti evidence ever captured. Local monasteries even claim to have Yeti relics, scalps, bones, and even a severed hand, preserved in sacred temples. Some of these artifacts were studied in the 20th century with mixed results. But were they real? Or clever fakes to attract donations and fame? Scientific investigations. As stories grew, scientists and explorers launched expeditions to prove or disprove the Yeti. 1950s, 1960s expeditions. Wealthy adventurers and even governments funded Yeti hunts. Some expeditions brought back samples of hair, bones, and skin. Tests often revealed they came from bears, goats, or other local animals. DNA analysis in the 2000s. Modern genetic testing on supposed Yeti samples concluded that most belonged to Himalayan brown bears or Asiatic black bears. But one sample matched no known species, fueling the idea of an undiscovered primate or hominid. Gigantopithecus theory. Some anthropologists suggested the Yeti could be a descendant of Gigantopithecus, Blackie, a massive ape that lived in Asia 2 million years ago. Standing up to 10 feet tall, it was the largest ape in history. Could it have survived in isolated Himalayan valleys? Myth or predator? Why does the Yeti endure when most myths fade? Predator tales. Sherpas and villagers still tell of livestock being killed in the night, of hunters vanishing, and of strange howls echoing through valleys. Some claim the Yeti is not just real, but dangerous, a true predator that rules the high mountains. Spiritual interpretations. Others argue the Yeti is a metaphor, a manifestation of human fear of the wild, or a spiritual guardian meant to remind us of the sacredness of the Himalayas. Misidentification. Skeptics insist the Yeti is nothing more than misidentified bears walking upright in deep snow. But if it were that simple, why do so many cultures across the world, from From the Bigfoot of North America to the Alma of Central Asia, describe nearly identical creatures. Global connections, the Yeti is not alone. Round the globe, legends of giant hairy humanoids appear again and again. Bigfoot, Sasquatch in North America, Almas in Mongolia, Yeren in China, Orang Pendek in Sumatra. Are these simply cultural coincidences, or do they point to a common origin? A shared memory of humans encountering another species of upright primates long ago. The mystery today, even today, hikers, climbers, and locals report encounters. Enormous footprints discovered on treks near Everest. Strange howls at night in the forests of Bhutan. Shadows moving upright across the snow, too tall to be bears. Modern technology like drones, night vision, and DNA testing has brought us closer than ever. Yet the Yeti remains elusive. Perhaps it is a flesh, hand, blood animal yet to be classified. Or perhaps it is something deeper, a legend that exists not in science, but in the imagination and spirituality of those who live beneath the shadow of the world's tallest mountains. The Yeti endures because it represents more than just a mystery. It embodies our fear of the unknown, our respect for nature, and our desire to believe that the world still holds secrets beyond human understanding. Is the Yeti a myth, a misidentified predator, or a living fossil from the dawn of time? Until science finds a definitive answer, the Yeti will remain perched between fact and folklore, guarding the icy peaks of the Himalayas, one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to uncover more hidden legends and forgotten histories.